Ladies and gentlemen, today I bring to you the words of wisdom not from the young, not from the famous, but from a 92-year-old woman who has lived long enough to understand the truths of life. She doesn't speak with the weight of mere opinion, but with the clarity that only years of faith and experience can bring. When she speaks, we should listen. This is a story of wisdom, truth, and a life well lived. It's not the story of a great king, a mighty warrior, or a famous scholar, no. This is the story of a woman who has seen life in all its seasons, who has known both joy and sorrow, who has witnessed the rise and fall of many things this world calls great. And when she speaks, we would do well to listen. She sat quietly, her hands weathered by time, her face lined with the marks of laughter, tears, and prayers. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady, filled with a strength that only comes from a lifetime of faith. She said, "I have lived long enough to know that most men chase after the wrong things. They spend their days striving, working, worrying, building up treasures that time will eventually take away. But that's a fact few men know. What matters most in life isn't what you have in your hands, but what you hold in your heart." I leaned in closer, wanting to hear every word, because there was something different about the way she spoke. She wasn't just sharing opinions, she was passing down truth. She continued, "So many people think happiness is found in money, in success, and having more. They chase after it, believing that once they reach a certain point, they will finally be satisfied. But I have lived long enough to tell you those things will never be enough. You get one thing and you want another. You reach one goal and suddenly there's another hill to climb. That's the way of the world. It always keeps you running, but never lets you rest." She paused for a moment, looking up as if remembering something, then turned back to me. "Let me tell you the truth. The richest man isn't the one with the most money. The strongest man isn't the one who wins every fight. The happiest man isn't the one who has the most comfort. No, the richest, strongest, and happiest man is the one who has peace in his soul. And that peace doesn't come from this world. It comes from God alone." Her words settled deep in my heart. How many times have we believed the lie that if we just had a little more, we would be content? How often have we measured success by what we own rather than who we are? But this woman who had lived through nearly a century, was telling me that true wealth is not found in things, but in faith. True strength is not in power, but in surrender to God. True happiness is not in comfort, but in knowing that your life has meaning beyond yourself. She sighed and shook her head. People spend their whole lives looking for what they already have access to. They search for love, but love is right in front of them if only they would take the time to give it. They look for peace, but peace is found in trusting the one who holds tomorrow. They long for purpose, but purpose is not found in chasing the wind, it is found in serving others and serving God. Then she looked me in the eyes, her gaze unwavering. "Son, if you want to live a life that truly matters, remember this. You will not be remembered for what you owned. You will not be remembered for how important you thought you were. You will be remembered for how well you loved, how deeply you believed, and how faithfully you walked with your Creator. That is the only legacy that lasts." I sat there, silent, letting her words sink in. She had no need for fancy speeches, no need for complicated explanations. She simply spoke the truth, a truth that this world so often forgets. And as I listened, I knew that I had just received something more valuable than all the treasures of the world. Because, my friends, that is a fact. She sat in her chair, her hands folded in her lap, her face calm but full of years. She had seen more than most, lived through times of plenty and times of hardship. And when she spoke, there was no hesitation, no uncertainty, just wisdom, clear and strong. "Son," she said, "most people are running after things that don't last. They think they're building something important, but they don't realize they're just chasing the wind." I leaned in, listening closely. She didn't speak fast, nor did she try to impress with big words, but every word she said carried weight, as if she had learned it through tears, prayers, and time. People spend their whole lives worrying about money, about their reputation, about what others think. But let me tell you something. The things you worry about today, most of them won't matter in a few years, and when you stand before God one day, none of them will matter at all. She paused, letting the silence settle before continuing. I've lived long enough to see men rise and fall. I've seen those who were rich one day and poor the next. I've seen people fight to be powerful, only to be forgotten as soon as they were gone. And I've seen people who spent their lives gathering wealth, only to leave this world with empty hands. That's the way of life. Nothing here lasts forever. But most people live as if it does. She sighed, shaking her head. Let me tell you the truth, because that's a fact few men know. Real peace, real joy, real security, they don't come from what you have. They come from knowing God. You can have everything this world offers and still be miserable, and you can have almost nothing but still be the richest person alive if you have faith, love, and peace in your heart. She looked at me, her eyes steady. You know why people are always so restless? Because they keep trying to fill a hole in their hearts with things that don't fit. Money won't fill it, success won't fill it, not even other people can fill it. That empty space was made for God, and until you give Him His place in your life, you will always feel like something is missing. She paused again, giving me time to think, then continued. But it's not just about knowing God, son, it's about how you live. Too many people say they believe, but they don't live like it. They hold grudges, they chase after things that don't matter, they forget to be kind, they forget to be thankful. But the way you live your life is the real proof of what you believe. Her hands, worn from years of work, rested gently on her knees as she spoke her next words. Love, kindness, and faith, those are the things that matter. The way you treat people, the way you forgive, the way you serve others, those are the things that last. When I leave this world, I don't want people to remember what I owned. I want them to remember the love I gave, the faith I had, and the kindness I showed. I sat there, letting her words settle deep in my heart. She wasn't telling me something new, she was telling me something true, something simple, but often forgotten. People spend their lives searching for what they already have access to. They chase happiness, but happiness is found in gratitude. They chase love, but love is found in giving, not just receiving. They chase peace, but peace is found in trusting God, not controlling everything. She gave me a gentle smile, full of warmth and understanding. Son, don't wait until you're my age to learn this. Life is short. Don't waste it chasing things that don't matter. Live in a way that when your time comes, you won't be afraid to leave this world. Live in a way that makes a difference. Live in a way that pleases God. And with that, she leaned back in her chair, quiet once again, as if she had said all that needed to be said. But in those few words, she had given me something priceless, the kind of wisdom that only comes from a life well lived. And that, my friends, is a fact, one that few men ever truly understand. In this world, there's only one thing that can truly fill the emptiness, and that's God. Her words echoed in my heart, deep and resonant. I had heard people speak of faith before, but never in such a way. This wasn't just something she believed, it was something she had lived, and I could see it in her eyes. She had discovered something real, something unshakable. Her gaze met mine, both warm and serious, and then she spoke again. But it's not just about knowing God. It's about how you live your life. Too many people claim to have faith, but their lives tell a different story. They hold grudges, chase after meaningless things, forget to love, forget to be kind. Listen to me, son. If you want your life to truly matter, you need to live with love, with faith, with purpose. She paused, as if weighing her next words carefully. People think they have all the time in the world. They put off doing what's right, put off forgiving, put off making peace with God. But time is not promised. I've lived long enough to see how quickly life can change. One moment everything seems fine, and the next everything is different. Her voice softened, yet her words carried even more weight. And remember this, what you leave behind is not what you owned, but how you loved. When your time comes, people won't talk about how much money you made or how many awards you won. They will remember how you treated them. They will remember your kindness, your faith, your love. That's the legacy that truly lasts. She leaned back, her face calm, filled with years of wisdom. So, son, don't make the mistake of chasing after things that won't last. Don't live for what fades away. Live for what matters. Live for God, live for love, live for something greater than yourself. With those words, she fell silent. In those few moments, she had spoken more truth than many do in a lifetime. And that, my friends, is a fact few ever truly come to understand. She sat there, her hands gently folded in her lap, her face serene, yet full of a life well lived. She had seen joy and sorrow, had witnessed the world change in ways many could never imagine. And when she spoke, her voice was steady, never rushed, never uncertain, but filled with the weight of experience. Most people spend their lives chasing after things that don't last. They work, they worry, they strive, always thinking that just a little more will bring them peace. But few know this. Peace doesn't come from what you have. It comes from who you are and who you trust. She paused for a moment, letting the truth sink in. I've seen people with more money than they could ever spend, yet no joy in their hearts. I've seen men with power who could control thousands but couldn't control their own fears. And I've seen people with nothing, no wealth, no fame, no earthly success, who walk through life with a peace and strength that nothing could shake. Do you know why? Because they had faith. They didn't place their trust in things that fade away. They placed it in God, and that made all the difference. She leaned forward slightly, her eyes steady and sure. The trouble with most people is they spend all their time storing up treasures that won't last. They fight for success, for wealth, for recognition, thinking these things will give their life meaning. But son, one day every possession you own will belong to someone else. Every title you hold will be forgotten. Every achievement you chase will fade into the past. And in that moment, the only thing that will matter is the kind of person you were. I sat quietly, letting her words sink in. She wasn't telling me something complicated. She was telling me something true, something I deep down already knew, but often forgot. I've lived long enough to see people come and go. Some left behind wealth, some left behind big names. But the ones I remember most are the ones who left behind love. Not money, not power, not status, just love. The way they treated people, the way they forgave, the way they helped without expecting anything in return. That's what lasts. That's what matters. She sighed, shaking her head slightly. The world will tell you happiness is found in having more, in being more, in doing more. But the world is wrong. True happiness is found in gratitude. It's found in loving what you already have, in cherishing the people around you, in trusting that God's plan is bigger than your worries. People spend so much time chasing happiness when all along it was right there in front of them. Her voice softened further but still carried weight. And let me tell you another thing, time is not promised. I've seen people put off the most important things believing they'll get to them later. They wait to forgive, they wait to love, they wait to make peace with God. But one day, later never comes. And when that day arrives, they look back with regret. Don't let that be you, son. Whatever is good, do it now. Whatever is right, do it today. Don't waste your life chasing things that don't matter. She looked at me one last time, her face full of both kindness and certainty. One day your life will be remembered, and when people speak of you, it won't be the money you made or the titles you held. It will be the love you gave, the kindness you showed, and the faith you lived by. That is your true legacy. That is what will last. With that, she leaned back, her eyes filled with understanding. She had spoken truth, not just from knowledge, but from a lifetime of experience. And that, my friends, is a fact few ever truly come to understand. She sat quietly, her hands resting gently in her lap, her face etched with the wisdom of years lived through joy and sorrow, abundance and struggle. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of all those experiences, steady, sure. "Son," she said, "most men go through life never understanding what really matters. They chase after things that fade, worry about things they can't control, and spend their days looking for happiness in all the wrong places. But few know this: the things that truly matter in life aren't things at all." She looked at me, her eyes knowing. I've watched people spend their whole lives working, thinking that if they just make enough money, they'll finally be at peace. But I've also seen those same people reach the top only to realize they're still empty inside. Money can buy a house, but it can't buy comfort. It can buy joy, but it can't buy health. There's nothing wrong with working hard, but don't make the mistake of thinking that money will give your life meaning. She paused, allowing her words to settle before continuing. Then there are those who chase after success, power, and recognition. They want people to admire them, to respect them, to remember their names. But son, let me tell you something. One day, every title will be forgotten. Every award will gather dust. Every achievement will fade into history. The only thing that will matter when your time comes is how you lived, how you loved, and how you treated the people around you. She leaned forward slightly, her expression serious. And you know what else I've learned? People spend so much time worrying about the future, about what others think, about things they can't change. But worry is a thief. It steals your joy, it steals your peace, and in the end, it changes nothing. The things you're worrying about today, most of them won't even matter a year from now. And even the ones that do, worrying won't fix them. Trust God, do your best, and let go of the rest. She sighed, shaking her head. But if there's one thing I've learned in all my years, it's this: love is the only thing that truly lasts. People won't remember what you owned, but they'll remember how you made them feel. They won't remember your status, but they'll remember your kindness. At the end of your life, the only thing that will truly matter is the love you gave. The love you gave to your family, to your friends, to those in need. That's your real legacy. Her voice softened, but there was still strength in it. And son, don't wait. Don't wait to say I love you. Don't wait to forgive. Don't wait to make things right. So many people put off the most important things, thinking they'll have time later, but time is not promised. I've seen too many people leave this world with regrets, not because of what they did, but because of what they didn't do. Don't let that be you. Whatever is good, do it now. She sat back, her eyes filled with understanding, as though she had lived 1,000 lives in one. So live with faith, love without condition, let go of what doesn't matter. And when your time comes, you won't have to be afraid. Because in the end, the only thing that will matter is how well you lived, how deeply you loved, and how faithfully you walked with God. She didn't need to say anything else. In those few words, she had given me something priceless, the kind of wisdom that only comes from a life well lived. And that, my friends, is a fact few ever truly come to understand.